So bam, I had the gun, and what happened was I bought a car, and I drove home to my little brother's birthday, and as I was driving back, it broke down. So I had my mother tow it for me, and it was only $500 to get a new engine, get it fixed. So I asked my mother, I asked the coach. They both denied me, so I'm like, man, I'm gonna go rob somebody then. And went and robbed somebody, and God allowed them to see who it was and get the license plate. So I went to jail for that. And that was my second year in college, my sophomore year.
So you're walking then you're walking into prison for the first time. What are you thinking? What's going through your mind? Did you feel like did you not feel intimidated because of your size, because of your upbringing, because of where you were from, the situations you've seen, or were you like shitting yourself?
So God made me a leader. I was a youth pastor, captain of football, wrestling, and track. I was in a fraternity at that point. So in county jail of Fresno County, when I was fighting my case, I became a Muslim. And so because I lost my faith in Christianity, I was questioning God. Why allow me to come to prison? Because, I was a youth pastor, and I was a coach for Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So I was questioning God or why he allowed the devil to come, attack me like this.
100%.
So I went and practiced Islam, and as a Muslim, I already knew they ran prisons. So when I got to prison, Delano County, I was already a mir. I was under imam, and that's like, top pastor. I was right below him in the Muslim world. So I went to prison. I was already a celebrity because they seen my case on the news. And so when I got to prison, I was already a celebrity and I was a Muslim. So I didn't have nothing to worry about.
Dang.
So, so I went in and to Delano, did about close to 2 years. I was the buffest guy on the yard and the youngest, buffest guy on the yard.
So I'm not trying to give up the whole X-Con to Icon, which if you guys are still watching the video, go over and purchase X-Con to Icon, Kali Muscle's book. We'll leave a link in the description below. But wait, what was I talking about? I think I forgot my question. We were talking about the X-Con to Icon.
Oh, you was acting if I was scared when I went to prison.
Oh, yeah, so you went to prison, and you said that within 90 days of being in prison, that you were able to rise up and you became the leader of the Muslim. How do you pronounce it? What's the correct way to?
Oh, the Muslims.
Muslim.
Yeah, Muslims.
Muslims.
Yeah, and so I went in and in that time period, I learned Arabic and I learned all the prayers and all the hadiths and Quran. I knew everything. So I became the imam.
So
what? Short period of time.
So you probably have like a crazy story of a time where you have a crazy story about just something that went down, a disagreement in jail, which you had to come and or something that just standout moment where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is real life.
Yeah, well, one of my situations that really changed my outlook on just prison life and friendship. Me and one of my good friends at the time, he was in. So I switched. The Muslim community was too fake for me at the time. When I was in San Quentin, they was doing heroin, drugs, and I didn't want no part of that. So I went and the gang that was from my area, the Bay Area, named Kumi 415, all my friends was a part of this that I grew up with. So they was like, man, we need you over here with your leadership and, because it's not being ran right. And so I was like, okay, well, if y'all, I get in there if I come in with a high-ranking position. Like, I'm not about to let dope fiends and shit, tell me what to do. And so they did that. They got me in with a higher ranking position. And so one of my good friends that was in the gang as well, we just hung out every day. We worked out every day, played chess together every day. He went against the gang and he didn't comply and do something he was supposed to do. And so this was when I really learned that, your own gang members and friends can whack you. You know what I mean? Because I had to step in that position. So he didn't do what he was supposed to do. So they looked at me like, yeah, we want you to go handle this business. And I didn't have no apprehension. Like this was my best friend at the time, but I had to go handle him. You know what I mean? I didn't kill him, but situations like that is just taught me a lot about prison life, gang life. And I went to his cell and I had to give him the business. And unfortunately, rest in peace, he died when he got out. But if he didn't die, I knew me and him on the streets would be at each other behind that. But yeah, man. So that was one of my life-changing eye-openers about friendship and gang life and prison life. But yeah, it's a whole lot. I've seen a lot in prison. Yeah. Never seen a rape. How people be projecting rapes.
Yeah. Hold on. So I got a question. So someone like me, let's say I get into like a scandal or something where I even if I go to jail for a year, I'm talking like federal prison. Like, what's someone like me, like 5'8", 150 pounds? Like, what's the game plan for me? Like I got. What's up? Let's say I'm in Texas.
Oh yeah, I don't know about Texas. All I can speak on, California is different than everywhere. It's like
Let's say I'm in California. Let's say I'm in California then. I don't know anything about. You think that I should go with the woods?
So let me tell you this. In my gang, we had every nationality.
Really?
So we would riot over a guy like you. I had like 5 white guys that was in our gang.
Really?
And we would riot over those guys because the woods would be like, you need to be with them. The Aryans, woods, or whatever, they'd be like, you got to be with them. And so, yeah, I didn't risk my life for white guys in my gang.
So would they let white people that that wanted to be a part of the other gangs, would they let them into the other games, or was that just depending on the person?
No, that's what I'm just mine. Kumi 4 and 5, you could be a Muslim. We had white Muslims. Serenos got white guys. Yeah. White guy. Just so you gotta figure. It's where you grew up and who you was raised around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't really know where I was trying to go with that.
Beast.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to be something, man. So back to you though. So you got out of prison there, and you were going back and forth for a little bit. And can you just summarize through that? Like, what stuck out to you? What you learned at that point in your life?
So I went back. I went to prison at 19. Got out at 26. So I got out this big shot caller. So the gang. So when I got out, I was still the shot caller. And so, I got out doing the right thing, personal training, and I was a stripper, making a lot of money. But I hit a dip financially, so I got into the drug game. And I didn't last 90 days of selling drugs. I was back in prison. So I only stayed on the streets 10 months after doing 7 years. And went back and was like I was back at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like had my power back and just fell in line, man. And so yeah, I did that several times. Went back 4 times, and I was just this big shot, man. I had this power. I had the dope connections. I was calling shots in prison and on the streets, and I got addicted to that power. And so what happened was in 2007, I did my last stint on a high-speed chase gun case, and got out and met this lady, and she was like, oh, she just act like she was this big Hollywood chick.
Oh, I want to get to that. I want to get to that in 1 second. Right at the end of like kind of how we explained your brother. Like I want to learn like how people have their own individual uniqueness and what we can learn from everyone, no matter how old they are. What was it like having that cellmate who was a pimp that you had? I don't know for how long it was, but he seemed like a very interesting guy that pushed you to be the best, and I really was curious on how he affected your life and what you learned from him.
Yeah, so he was at Pelican Bay. He was an old crackhead pimp.
He was
And
crackhead. I didn't
he
even
would
know
just,
that.
yeah, he was an old crackhead. No, he might have was a heroin. He was a heroin addict. But in there, he was straight laced. So yeah, he was like, man, you need to don't sell no more dope, man. Just start pimping. And so he would have all these stories for me, and I'd be intrigued and in a trance listening to his stories. And I was like, yeah, I ain't selling no dope when I get out this next time. I'm gonna be a pimp.
Yeah.
And
Does a story stand out that he said to you? Like the first one that comes to mind, a funny story, a crazy.
oh yeah, he used to just talk about how many hoes he would have. Like he said, man, I didn't have no less than 10 hoes at a time, man. I was making a buku of money, but I'm like, this can't be true. Why you in here on a little heroin case?
Yeah, that sounds like my boy
Yeah.
Bloomer. Oh my god.
Yeah. And so I got out and put my hands in. I did it for about 2 years, but I was stripping and doing pimping at the same time. So I
Damn.
was making a lot of money, but just dealing with women was just too much for me, man. Too stressful, too much of a headache. A lot of problems that I never, my life was not problematic like that. I always was in control of my course and my destiny. But being with people like that, they do something dumb, you gotta come save them, and so I didn't like that. So yeah, I went from pimping to being a barber. And I've been a barber all my life since I was 12 years old, and I was making more money just cutting people hair than I was doing the pimping stuff, and I stayed doing the stripping as well because I stripped on and off for 10 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
10 years?
Yeah.
Damn. Did you? All right. So actually, you know what? The way my brain works, a lot of people might see that and might like feel some type of way about it or might make some type of judgment. And what was the most beneficial thing that you learned that you feel like anyone watching could just take mentally and move forward from and grow on and grow as a person from? Like, what was the biggest lesson you took and learned and grew from being a stripper?
Oh, I learned how to entertain.
I bet. I bet.
Yeah, I never forget. I was rough around the edges. I was an introvert, but I always was an opportunist. And so I never forget this one strip show. This lady was like, if you smile more, you attract more, honey, more bees.
Yeah.
And, more people will come to you. And so right then, that kind of schooled me on smiling more, being more of a people person. Because I was just a mean looking dude, who didn't smile or laugh much.
Big
And so, yeah, that was stripping. It just taught me to be a people person and be nice. You know what I mean? Even sometimes when you don't want to be.
Yeah.
So that was a big lesson. And that everything I went through geared me for Hollywood. Yeah.
Do you feel like that made you a better person, trying to not lose respect? I don't. Is that a good way to put it? And then you.
No, I didn't care about that because let me tell you, when my gang members found out I was a stripper, they was talking mad stuff. You know what I mean? They was questioning the founder of our gang about allowing me to be the top person, and they looked down on it. They called it gay, all that stuff, and so I didn't care about. I never cared what other men thought. You know what I mean? That's the. If you go be successful in life, you can't care what people think.
You know what Floyd Mayweather says? Just give me the
What's
check.
that?
Just give me the check.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. So after all of that, you had that was a crazy upbringing. I'm glad how that all shaped out and went exactly down the line of what I got it. So you get out of prison for that fourth time after going back and forth. What? And then you meet what the yo? You were in Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
Bro, what? Yeah. Bro, what were you doing in Wonder Woman?
Well, I was a super soldier, they called it.
God damn, you super soldier. Super
role.
XL, bro. What the?
I got like 20 national commercials under my belt. That was nothing compared to commercials, yeah.
What'd you learn? What's the biggest thing you learned from being in Hollywood? What's like the craziest thing? Any story you got? Any standout moment? First thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, that they always try to demasculinize you.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Try to put you in a dress and all, they just look at you as a body
Mm.
in Hollywood. And, you know, for me, once the COVID thing happened with the bodybuilding, with the acting, and they trying to, make you pump that poison in you, I left it alone.
Oh my god, you should have saw my furry. Kali, I went to Furry Con. I did a video at Furry Con 6 days ago. It's Massachusetts. Let's say it was January 16th, 2024. They said that you weren't allowed in without 3 vaccinations and your mask.
Wow.
In 2024. I just
crazy.
like that's not even misinformation. That's just facts. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's why.
I just I can't even believe it. It just didn't even make sense to me. So we talked a lot about especially at the start, the X-Con to Icon. Once again, shout out the book, shout out Kali Muscle. Go check him out. Link in the description below. X-Con to Icon. That was a huge change in your life. That was a whole story that we just went through. But what is being an icon? What does being an icon to being a father look like for you? X-Con to Icon, Icon to father.
So yeah, icon is somebody that hold themselves high and high esteem.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like you accomplish things that you never thought you would accomplish. And people call you an icon more than you call yourself that. Like me, I never wanted to be famous or none of that. I didn't even take pictures or videos as a kid. I would knock the camera out of somebody's hand and trying to take a picture of me when I was young. And, to just go full circle and change my life to being on camera, being, likable and unlikable. It was just something I never even dreamed of. I never dreamed of being an actor. I never wanted to be an actor. I never wanted to be a bodybuilder. None of that. Never thought I'd be writing a book or doing music. Once I got out of prison and when I went back a few times, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna get rich selling drugs. That's how I thought I was gonna get rich. None of this was planned for me, man. It's just a course by God. So yeah, then from an icon to a father, that's just a whole nother whole nother level, man. Whole nother like it's just being a father is just like, man, I really got something to live for now. You know what I mean? Like before being a father, I didn't really trip on dying or not being around or counting years. Now I'm like, okay, when my kid is 20, I'll be 60. You know what I mean? Like I never did none of that type stuff. So being a father is actually the greatest thing in life, man. It's the hardest but greatest.
What makes it so great?
You be able to guide somebody's life. And I look at it like, okay, if I die, maybe I'll still be able to live through my son. You know what I mean? That's how I look at. That's how I look at it. So yeah, it's just being able to. It's like it's you as a kid. If you have a son, even a daughter, you looking like, wow, my parents messed up right here, but I can not mess up right here. Yeah. As a parent, so it's dope, man. But I don't recommend it to everybody. Some people are not meant to be parents. Yeah.
What do you have to say about people that are very insecure? Any advice for them?
Insecure. Well, yeah, that goes back to what you said earlier. You got to find your why. Why did God allow you to be on the planet? Why you're alive? What's your purpose? Because like you said, everybody have a gift. Be it drawing, singing, sports. You could be a speed reader. You could, you know what I mean? Like everybody have a gift, and that's what you're born for. Is to show that gift and share it with the world.
When you were in high school and you were graduating your senior year, or even let's say middle school going into high school, elementary going into middle, what would be a big piece of advice that you would give to yourself back then and then to anybody else
what advice I would give them
Yeah.
back then? Be smart. Be
Hmm.
smarter. Work towards being smarter than everybody.
So
And
educate yourself. Is that what you're saying?
right? Because see, back then when I was growing up, you wasn't cool if you was smart.
Hmm.
And so that was the reason I was a class clown all the way through ninth grade until I saw my brother getting honored and respected and cheered for being super smart.
Hmm.
Because, like I say, he was a valedictorian, just a genius.
Hmm.
And, I went to schools during the drug era where if you didn't have money and nice clothes and a car, you was looked at as nothing. So my thing is outsmart everybody, be the smartest you could be. And it's easy to be smart now. You can go to Google and find out the answers for tests and
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I
so
was
I'm
on
like,
that.
yeah, be the smartest you can be, man.
So
Because
looking,
only the smart survive in this day and age.
think back to yourself when you were 19 right now. You're 19. Let's say you're 18. You just graduated. The day 2 days after graduation. What would that 18-year-old Kali Muscle think if he were to look out in your driveway and see all your cars? Not only that, the 3 Hellcats, I may add.
Oh, I think he's balling. But you got to remember, I grew up like that. So
Mm,
my parents had Cadillacs, Mercedes Benzes, nicest house on the block. I wore designer clothes
mm,
all through my childhood. So I grew up like that. So it was the norm
mm.
for me.
Interesting. What about I heard you say on the No Jumper podcast with Adam 22. It said that the whole time at what point did you start popping pills? Because you said you would always be popping pills and going to the gym and you'd wake up feeling like crap sometimes, but you would always be in the gym at 10 o'clock every single morning and you don't know why, but that's what led you to where you were. How did that start up for you and how did like just being consistent with the gym for that long? What was your mentality going through that phase in your life?
So what happened was this was started the pill popping. So I went to prison in 2005 for the high speed chase.
Mm,
So I was in there with youngsters, and they was I sold ecstasy, and I never took drugs in my life, whatever. And so when I went back in 2005, youngsters was bragging on ecstasy, how it make you talk, and and I was talking to them, telling them I was gonna pimp when I got out. They was like, "Oh boy, you get on them e pills when you get out and you pimping, you won't stop talking, man." And I was like, man. So I looked at ecstasy as a performance enhancer. And
mm,
so I was like, So I got out in 2006, 2007, 2006. And I tried it
mm.
and it was right.
Yeah.
I got like two prostitutes that night of me taking them. I was talking, all the pimp talking shit. All I'm doing is dress finesse. I'm gonna let the hoe do the rest. Pig on the pig and tell it that way.
Dress
All I
finesse.
want is a house
Oh
and tell
my
the baby
god.
body business. These my friends, the best of trends. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
I was
god.
talking to pimping.
I gotta
And
write that down.
yeah, so I went on. I took pills for about a year straight,
Damn.
but I would take them Monday through Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
No, not Monday through Thursday. Thursday through Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and Monday through Thursday I would work
Mm-hmm.
out. And yeah, it got to the point where I would get zingers in my head, and I couldn't hold my weight
Mm-hmm.
on that Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I would lose like 15 pounds, and I would gain it back Monday through Thursday. And so it just wasn't congruent with I was into my body. I was, somewhat of a narcissist where I like to look buff and big, and so it didn't correlate with my lifestyle.
Was
So I
there a
stopped taking them.
was there a specific moment that stands out to you which made you stop that you feel that would benefit other
Yeah.
people that are in a similar position? How did that affect your hustle and how did that affect your grind towards making money? And then on top of that, not sleeping with going to the gym and your energy levels.
Well, for me, like I said, it was a performance enhancer. So it benefited me for the career I was in, talking a lot. I had to talk a lot. It gave me mad energy. But when it came to working out, that's where it would cause me to suffer because I wasn't as strong. I would lose weight because I wouldn't eat. that whole Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Like I would try to drink a Jamba Juice or something, but I couldn't get any food down or nothing.
Mm.
And so, yeah, but ultimately I started getting zingers in my head. Like I would be sitting, and then I just get like a electric current to go through like my brain. And I'm like, oh, that's them pills, and it would mess up my libido.
Mm.
And so I'm like, nah, I don't need nothing that make me lose weight. Something that's about to give me a stroke and mess up my libido. I had to cut that shit out.
Mm.
Yeah. So I did it off and on for about a year. Then I stopped and didn't do nothing after. Didn't drink. I never liked weed. I used to sell it, but I only smoked weed maybe 3 times in my entire life. And yeah.
I can't even imagine. I've never done anything crazy like that. So I just like I'm curious to how like the mind works and how that affects your mind and like other drugs like let's even say like Adderall for example. Someone that doesn't focus, they take enough of a prescription of Adderall and then they're locked in. So then it's just very interesting to me how all these substances, even like alcohol, how it affects our body and the bloodstream and everything.
Yeah.
So the I have two more questions to finish out with, and I'm really big on preaching an open mindset no matter who it is. I think if you're talking to a 5-year-old, I think that there's a lot that you can learn from them based upon what they say. So if you're showing them your stream and they're like, "Oh, this is lame," or "Oh, like you should play with cars," like there's so much that you can build upon. Like there's a 5-year-old kid, there's an audience for this, and he wants to watch cars. Why would they want to watch cars? Like okay, like what is he trying to say? Like, oh, what do you think about this? What do you think that I should do? And they're like their brains are unwired, so they have such a natural, just raw answer that they can give to you that might give you a different perspective on something. Or even taking fitness advice from someone that doesn't do fitness, it could introduce you to a different way of training that you've never done. So that's the way that I view an open mindset. But what do you believe in having an open versus closed mindset?
Without a doubt. So that's the key to my success. That's the reason behind my success is having an open mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I've always been able to thrive. And I give you an example of me being this hardcore bodybuilder,
Mm.
but I saw that gaming was making money, a lot of money, more than fitness. So I started streaming as a gamer for 4 years straight.
Mm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you
Like,
enjoy that, or were you just?
oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, I was gaming for like 16 hours a day.
Man, what was your
I
game? What
was,
was the game you were playing at that time? Some COD?
it was Call of Duty,
Yeah.
Infinite Warfare, Infinite Warfare. Then when Fortnite hit and Apex, I was addicted, bro.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, Grand Theft Auto. Oh man, like right now, I'm still probably gonna buy another console. But anyway, so open mind is that's who that's who the mega rich are.
Mm.
People
Absolutely.
that's mega
Amen.
wealthy and all that. Yeah, they got open minds. You can't have a closed mind and be successful.
What do you have to say
Uh,
to people about that have and portray a closed mindset and how detrimental it is to the people that don't really realize it?
well, it's very detrimental. You got to take me as well with this new journey I'm on with fruitarian and eating a healthy lifestyle. If I was closed minded, I'd be eating the same way I was eating and I'd be dead.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
open mind is like, man, that's a hack to just success and having an awesome, happy life.
Mm.
Closed minded people are always angry and, depressed and all. You got to think, if you have an open mind, you ain't going to think about killing yourself.
Mm. Yeah.
you
Mm.
know, like,
What is your opinion on Andrew Tate? Do you know the name Andrew Tate?
oh, yeah. I tell my business partner all the time about this. He was needed.
Mm.
He's God sent because men was so soft and pussy and getting demasculized. He was needed, bro.
Mm.
Everything he talked about and went through was needed.
Mm.
And you see the like they banned him or whatever, and then he just all the people fought for him to come back.
Mm.
And any man that have sons and want, masculine son, go agree with him.
Mm.
And yeah, he was needed, bro.
I
He
feel
he,
like that a
he
lot of
sacrificed he sacrificed his own life to get the message out.
damn. He really did. That's
Yeah.
something that the first thing that comes to mind or I'm not even gonna say the last part, but I really agree with everything that you just said. I feel like that the people, once again, the people that view Andrew Tate in a negative light, especially if you hear anything he said over the last 2 years, I feel like that he's portrayed to be someone, and I don't know, I really don't understand. I really like can't wrap my mind around it. And the only thing he says is equal and opposite forces. That makes sense that someone's trying to bring him down, but I think it's a closed mindset, the people that don't like Andrew Tate, because he has, like I said earlier, everything that pretty much anyone would ever want. Like you look at, he has the cars, he has the woman, he has the house, he can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. And regardless of the case or whatever happens with that, we'll find out if he's innocent or guilty, innocent until proven guilty. But I just think it's crazy how someone that only puts out a good message, like if you really listen to the stuff that he says, the only way that you can not like what he says is, for obviously most of the time, but it's as if you have a closed mindset. And so one of the last things I wanted to ask was, what would you consider to be your I made it moment? You're out of jail, you're finally getting things going, you're finally starting to get your feet on the ground, making some money. What was that moment in your mind that was like when things started to change around? You're starting to get those commercial deals. What was the wow, man? Like I did it.
It was at the LA Fit Expo in 2014, 2015. So I had my own booth, and people were in a line outside. They was waiting 5 hours in a line to come shake my hand and talk to me.
Damn.
That was, bro, like, that was like, to me, I was just having fun on the internet, doing workout videos, talking crazy.
Yeah.
People were in line coming up crying, saying how I changed their life and made them look at life different. And right then, I'm like, man, this is serious. You know, I was just, like I said, having fun on the internet. I wasn't expecting to be a role model.